on to a new chapter of math. This chapter is officially titled Percents and Proportions, but today's goal to write and simplify rate, ratio, and unit rate. And if you're thinking, what's the difference? Good news, you're about to learn what exactly is the difference. Do you have your new note packet out and ready? So the first word, ratio. You might need to pause so that you can write it down. Ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. And then it says ratios can be written 3 different ways. So in your example box, you might want to write the 3 different ways you can write a ratio. It says 10 people thought the Vikings would win, while 15 thought they would lose. So I can use that ratio and write it 10 to 15, using the word to. 10 to 15, using that colon. Or 10 to 15, using a fraction bar. To be honest with you, this fraction bar is a little bit confusing since we just stopped or ended the fraction chapter, because it does not mean 10 out of 15. It means 10 people thought win, and 15 people thought lose. So a lot of times when it's written as a fraction, it's not actually a fraction, and people label it to help you understand what they are talking about. Yes, you can go back and simplify. 10 to 15 people would be the same as 2 to 3. Definitely pause if you need more time. The next word, rate. Now, rate is a special type of ratio, kind of like chocolate chip is a special type of cookie, or peanut butter is a special type of cookie. Rate is a special type, ratio is a special type of rate, because it talks about different units. Ratio had 10 people to 15 people. Those aren't different units. Rate happens a lot at the grocery store. A lot. I just bought 2 bags of Doritos, 1 Cool Ranch, and 1 Nacho for $5. 100% true story. There was a sign. It said you can buy 2 bags of Doritos for $5. Or I can buy 4 12 packs of pop for $12. True story. A lot of times you can buy 4 for $12. So I'm comparing 2 different things. I'm comparing Doritos to money and packs of pop to money. Different things. Then, even more specific is a unit rate. And what is special about a unit rate? It has to have a denominator of 1. You also see this at the grocery store. Apples are $2.99 per pound. How many pounds? 1. You might see it at the gas station. I think yesterday I paid $2.14 for 1 gallon. Unit rate per 1. So here's some other examples of unit rate per 1. If it's, okay, pretend it's not winter, pretend it's summer and it's really hot and you're biking over to Casey's to get some water. You see a sign. $1.98 for 2 liters. Unit rate is how much for 1 liter. Again, since I'm writing it what looks like a fraction, I am labeling it so people know that it's not a fraction, it's a rate. How can I find how much for 1 liter? If you haven't already divided, this would be a good time to do that. $1.98 for 2 liters, or 99 cents for 1 liter. I mentioned this one a moment ago. A lot of times when you're buying a car, you want to know how far it can drive for 1 gallon. Especially if you're like me and you're a commuter, you want a car that has a good gas mileage for 1 gallon. How am I going to figure out for 1 gallon? If you haven't already started, this would be a good time to start. Some decimal rules I need to remember. How many decimals outside? None. You can't have any outside. Does 125 fit into 4? Nope. 42? Nope. 425? Yes. 34 miles per 1 gallon. Please label it if you're writing like a fraction. Please label it if you're writing it like a fraction. Finally, unit rate helps us with something called a better buy. So we have 4 options of this dish soap here. We can get a trial size, which is small. If you're camping or traveling, you probably have a small one with you. A regular size, maybe it's sitting on your counter at home, a regular size. Family, a lot of people get a family one to refill their regular ones. And then finally you got the big guys, the economy ones that you're buying at Sam's Club or Costco, the big boys. I'm trying to find out which is the better buy. So if I'm paying 78 cents for 6 fluid ounces, how much for 1 fluid ounce? If I'm paying $1.20 for 12 fluid ounces, how much for 1 fluid ounce? And so on. You will have 4 answers by the time you are done. How much is each one per ounce? If you didn't divide, that was your first mistake. So it turns out 78 cents for 6 ounces is 13 cents for 1 ounce. $1.20 divided by 12 is 10 cents. $2.24 divided by 28 is 8 cents. By the way, I had to get some scratch paper out because there wasn't enough room on my screen. And then $3.60 divided by 40, I can actually do that in my head. 36 divided by 4 is 9 cents. A lot of people think that just because it's at Sam's Club or Costco, it's the best deal, but it's not. You got to be careful of that. So the best deal would be for me to buy the family bottle and then refill my smaller bottles as I go. Now sometimes, like if you're camping, you don't have room for a big family size. So sometimes you just got to pay more for a smaller bottle. Make sure you leave your notes out as you start working so you remember the difference between ratio, rate, and unit rate. Have a good one.